This HOA Karen destroyed my trash can 57 times with her $60,000 Escalade, so I replaced it with a concrete one and watched her destroy her own SUV instead. What started as morning property demolition ended with criminal charges, a $47,000 embezzlement scheme exposed, and one very expensive life lesson about picking the wrong neighbor to bully. Picture this: the sharp crack of plastic shattering echoes through dawn silence, followed by the metallic scrape of bumper meeting asphalt as a pearl-white Escalade speeds away, leaving my garbage scattered like confetti across the driveway again. But here's the thing about bullies: they never expect their victims to fight back with actual concrete evidence. My name is Marcus Holloway, I'm 45, electrician for 22 years, recently divorced, fighting for joint custody of my 2 teenagers Emma and Tyler. We live in Pinewood Gardens, one of those cookie-cutter HOA neighborhoods in suburban Ohio where everyone's lawn has to be exactly 2.5 inches tall. I bought the corner lot house 3 years ago after the divorce, figured it'd be a fresh start. What I didn't figure on was dealing with Brenda Whitmore, a 52-year-old widow who appointed herself the neighborhood's compliance officer, a title that doesn't actually exist in our HOA bylaws. Brenda drives a pearl-white Escalade bigger than some studio apartments. The woman knows every HOA rule by heart and treats our monthly dues like her personal slush fund. She's buddies with the HOA president Gerald Thornfield, which basically makes her untouchable. My corner lot means trash pickup requires me to place my bin near the street every Tuesday morning. City ordinance says within 3 feet of the curb, which puts it right where Brenda takes her daily power walk at exactly 6:15 a.m. The first incident happened on a Tuesday in September. I'm getting the kids ready, coffee brewing, then crack, the sound of plastic exploding like a gunshot. I rush outside to find my trash can obliterated, garbage scattered everywhere. There's Brenda backing up her Escalade, rolling down her window. "Oh my," she says, not a trace of sincerity, "these streets are just so narrow. I hope you weren't too attached to that old thing." I'd bought it the week before for $23, but I kept my cool, figured it was an accident. That first week it happened 3 more times, same routine, 6:15 sharp, that rumble of her oversized engine, the sickening crunch, then silence as she drove away. My elderly neighbor Mrs. Olivia confirmed what I suspected. "She takes the long way around on purpose," she told me. "Plenty of room on other side, but she drives close to your can every time." I tried reasoning with Brenda. Caught her on the sidewalk. "Hey, about the trash can situation." She cut me off with this saccharine smile. "Marcus, I understand you're new to community living. These streets were designed for normal-sized vehicles, not oversized containers blocking traffic flow." By month's end I'd replaced 4 trash cans at $92 total. The kids were getting stressed about the daily drama. That's when the smirk started. Brenda began making direct eye contact during her morning demolition runs, this little satisfied smile that said she knew exactly what she was doing. Game on. 2 weeks into October, Brenda escalated. I came home to find a certified letter. "Improper trash receptacle placement creating traffic hazard," it read. 72 hours to remedy violation or face $50 daily fines. Here's where my years of troubleshooting electrical codes paid off. I dove into municipal law, and after 3 hours I hit the jackpot. The city code explicitly requires trash placement within 3 feet of the curb on collection day. More importantly, HOA jurisdiction ends at the property line. They literally can't regulate public right-of-way. I installed a Ring doorbell camera, got a professional survey confirming my placement complied with all city requirements, even convinced Mrs. Olivia to provide a written statement. Meanwhile, Brenda was flooding the Nextdoor app with posts about reckless homeowners endangering children. Then came the twist: a buddy at City Hall called. The city had received 4 separate complaints about my dangerous corner, each claiming different witness perspectives but obviously written by the same person, all submitted within 15 minutes at 2:47 a.m. By Thursday's board meeting, I'd compiled evidence thick enough to choke a horse. I stood up with my documentation, read the city ordinance aloud, displayed my survey results, casually mentioned my consultation with a property rights attorney. She found the selective enforcement patterns particularly interesting, I added, watching Brenda's face go pale. President Thornfield cleared his throat. "Well, this requires further review. We'll table this matter." Translation: they had nothing. But Brenda wasn't done. As we filed out, she cornered me in the parking lot. "You think you're so smart," she hissed loud enough for everyone to hear. "People like you come into decent neighborhoods and think rules don't apply. The racial undertones hung in the air, obvious to everyone present. My phone captured every venomous syllable. November hit and Brenda hit back harder. Violation notices about my grass height, mailbox color, window screen tiers, each carrying $50 fines. I spent a Saturday walking the neighborhood documenting identical violations on 14 other properties, but somehow only mine merited attention. That's when I had coffee with Dale Kowalski at Home Depot's contractor desk. Dale pours concrete for a living. You know, he said, there's nothing in city code about what materials you can use for trash containers. Plastic, metal, concrete, as long as it holds garbage, you're golden. That conversation planted a seed. 60 pounds of concrete mix, steel rebar for reinforcement, clever modification to a standard plastic shell, total cost $47. The engineering was simple but effective, hollow bottom for weight distribution, exterior appearance identical to every other trash can on the block. From outside it looked completely normal, inside 60 pounds of steel reinforced concrete waited to teach Brenda a physics lesson. Monday morning I positioned my newly reinforced trash can in exactly the same spot. 6:15 came right on schedule, the first collision at about 15 miles per hour, her usual ramming speed. The sound was completely different. Instead of that crunch of breaking plastic, there was a solid thunk followed by the screech of metal on concrete. Her Escalade's running board bent like aluminum foil while my trash can sat there looking mildly offended. She sat in her SUV for 30 seconds, clearly confused, then revved the engine and tried again. Same result, more damage to her vehicle, zero damage to my concrete fortress. The beauty was its complete legality, no city ordinances violated, no HOA rules broken, just a homeowner upgrading his trash receptacle with better materials. Over the next week Brenda made increasingly desperate attempts. Each collision left new scratches and dents on her pearl white Escalade while my can remained intact. By Friday her SUV showed nearly $800 in accumulated damage. By mid-November Brenda had transformed into full-blown private investigator. Mrs. Olivia called. "Marcus, that woman was in your driveway last night with a flashlight and some kind of scale trying to weigh your trash can." Thursday afternoon a building inspector knocked on my door. "Ma'am filed a complaint about potential building code violations, something about unauthorized concrete structures." He examined it for 30 seconds before shaking his head. "It's a garbage container, not a foundation, no permits required." But Brenda wasn't finished. The following week brought a notice demanding immediate access for compliance verification. My response was polite but firm: no private property access without a court order. Meanwhile her vehicle was becoming a rolling advertisement for steel-reinforced concrete durability. The running board now hung at an angle, her front bumper sported spiderweb cracks. The real breakthrough came when Patricia Lopez, the only reasonable board member, pulled me aside. "Brenda's been having private meetings with Gerald about enhanced enforcement authority. She's also been pushing hard for approval of maintenance contracts with some company I've never heard of." That night I started a different kind of investigation. Public records are amazing when you know where to look. Sunday night I was deep in the city's public contract database. What I found made me set down my coffee. Whitmore Construction LLC, formed 6 months ago, listed Brenda as 40% owner. Over the past 4 months, Whitmore Construction had been awarded 7 different maintenance contracts by our HOA board, $23,400 in total work. On every single contract, Whitmore Construction had underbid the competition by exactly $50 to $100, and Brenda had voted to approve every single one. Board members are required to disclose any financial interests in vendor contracts. Failure to do so violates state nonprofit corporation law. The evidence was sitting right there: business registration documents, HOA meeting minutes, contract award records. Brenda had been using her board position to funnel community dues directly into her family's bank account. My first questioning of maintenance budget at the board meeting, September 3rd, she'd started her harassment campaign exactly 12 days after I'd innocently asked why we were spending so much on basic repairs. This wasn't just about trash cans anymore, it was about corruption, embezzlement, and a woman desperate enough to wage psychological warfare against anyone who threatened her scheme. I printed everything, made digital copies, and immediately emailed the complete file to my attorney. The power dynamic had just shifted completely. Tuesday evening my garage transformed into a war room. Mrs. Olivia, Jim Torres the maintenance guy, Patricia Lopez and Dale Kowalski assembled. The evidence layout looked like a federal investigation: $23,000 in questionable contracts, 7 conflict of interest violations, 47 documented harassment incidents, and 1 increasingly damaged Escalade. We organized our multi-pronged attack strategy. The community organizing started Wednesday morning. 89 signatures supporting property rights, 34 demanding immediate financial audits, 12 volunteering for testimony. Media preparation took 3 days. Channel 7's investigative unit specialized in municipal corruption stories. The press kit included professional timeline graphics and 12 minutes of edited video showing Brenda's escalating collision attempts. Meanwhile, my concrete trash can continued serving as both evidence and entertainment. Thursday morning brought collision attempt number 53, resulting in a headlight housing that now dangled like a broken tooth. The neighborhood kids had started gathering at bus stops early just to witness the daily demolition derby. The weekend before our planned board meeting, Brenda went completely off the rails. Saturday night I was jolted awake by spray paint hissing. Someone was spray painting "move" in orange letters across my concrete trash can. My security cameras recorded everything, including the license plate of a pearl white Escalade parked 3 houses down. Monday brought anonymous complaints. Tuesday, a private security company watching my house. Wednesday, Emma came home upset, having overheard Brenda talking about dangerous neighborhood influences and inappropriate role models. Friday evening, Tyler found something unusual under my work truck: a GPS tracker, professional grade, definitely illegal when placed without consent. I drove straight to the police station. The insurance fraud angle developed simultaneously. Brenda had filed a $3,200 claim for road hazard damage. When State Farm's investigator called, I was ready with complete evidence: 53 documented collision attempts, witness statements, video compilation. The investigator's reaction was immediate: "Ma'am, this isn't road hazard damage, this is intentional property destruction. We're denying the claim and referring to our fraud unit." Monday morning, 12 hours before our board meeting showdown, Gerald Thornfield called an emergency closed-door session. Through the blinds I could see animated gestures. Patricia texted me updates: "Brenda's claiming you've made terrorist threats, wants emergency powers to seize dangerous modifications." Tuesday afternoon brought the most shocking revelation. Richard Whitmore, Brenda's husband, called me directly. "Marcus, this has to stop. She spent $8,000 on lawyers, surveillance and vehicle repairs. Our insurance got canceled." I almost felt sorry for him, almost. "Richard, your wife stalked my family, vandalized my property, committed insurance fraud, and embezzled from 127 homeowners. This isn't going away with an apology." 2 hours before the board meeting, Brenda filed an emergency restraining order petition based on completely fabricated evidence. The petition was so poorly constructed that the judge dismissed it without even scheduling a hearing. As 6 p.m. approached, the community center parking lot filled up like Black Friday. Cars lined both sides of the street with neighbors carrying lawn chairs and signs. Channel 7's news van pulled up, followed by Channel 12. Inside, 118 residents packed into a space designed for 40, overflow crowds standing along the walls. Brenda arrived flanked by her attorney, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. At exactly 6:45, as Brenda was attempting to deflect questions about the Whitmore construction contracts, Officer Derek Martinez walked through the doors carrying a warrant. "Sorry to interrupt, but I have a warrant to serve regarding insurance fraud and stalking charges." The color drained from Brenda's face. Game over. The community center had never seen anything like it: 127 residents, every homeowner in Pinewood Gardens, plus 15 media representatives. I'd positioned myself strategically with my concrete trash can wheeled in as Exhibit A, sitting proudly beside the podium. I stood up first carrying my presentation boards. "Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about trash cans, this is about accountability, transparency, and stopping corruption." I walked them through the timeline: 57 documented collision attempts, GPS tracker illegally placed on my vehicle, spray paint vandalism, fake insurance claims. But the real showstopper was the financial presentation. Using a projector, I displayed the contract analysis showing $23,400 funneled into Brenda's family business. "Every month you've been paying higher fees to fund Mrs. Whitmore's personal construction company," I announced. 7 contracts, 7 undisclosed conflicts of interest. The video compilation played next. 12 minutes of Brenda's greatest hits set to crunching plastic and scraping metal. Then came the mic drop moment. "Mrs. Whitmore," I said, turning to face her while cameras rolled, "you've spent $3,400 on lawyers, destroyed your $60,000 vehicle, committed insurance fraud, and stalked my family over a $23 trash can, but the real crime is the $47,000 you've stolen from this community." The room erupted. Brenda shot up from her chair. "This is harassment," she screamed. "These people don't understand property values or community standards. They come into decent neighborhoods and think rules don't apply." The racial undertones hung in the air. Channel 7's camera captured every word. Mrs. Olivia gasped when Brenda pointed at her and shouted something about certain elements ruining the community. Brenda grabbed my evidence boards, attempting to tear them apart before neighbors gently restrained her, having a complete meltdown on live television. Patricia Lopez stood up. "I move for the immediate suspension of Brenda Whitmore from the board pending criminal investigation." The vote was unanimous, 4-0. Justice served concrete cold. The aftermath unfolded like dominoes. Within 48 hours Brenda's world collapsed. Tuesday morning brought her formal resignation. By Thursday the district attorney had filed insurance fraud charges. Her insurance license was revoked Friday. Our emergency HOA audit recovered $47,000 in overcharges. Every homeowner received a $170 refund check by Christmas. Richard Whitmore called one final time. The civil settlement check is in the mail, $12,500 as agreed. Brenda's moving to Florida to live with her sister. The governance transformation was remarkable. Patricia Lopez won the special election for board president. The new board implemented conflict of interest disclosure requirements and public contractor bidding. My concrete trash can became a neighborhood legend. We moved it to the community center lobby as a permanent display with a bronze plaque reading "Property Rights Protected 2023. The Concrete Can Days Festival we established draws families from 3 surrounding developments every September. The scholarship fund I established with settlement money has helped 4 students attend college. Emma's college application essay about fighting corruption with concrete evidence earned her admission to 3 journalism programs. Tyler started a YouTube channel called Suburban Justice covering HOA disputes. Sometimes David does beat Goliath, but only when David comes prepared with evidence, allies, and 60 pounds of steel-reinforced concrete. Drop a comment and share your HOA nightmare story. Hit that subscribe button if you want more stories where the little guy wins through preparation, patience, and perfect timing.